Nilesh sir, shall we start?
Yes, we can.
Okay, okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
So today we have my very dear friend here, Santosh Matre. He's a professional photographer and currently he's working with a American-based image editing company. Mostly works on e-commerce uh, retouching. Okay, and so he will be sharing his experience, his whatever knowledge he has, particularly about workflow, etc. And he will give us little bit demo also um, about the work that he does there. Okay. Whoever has any questions, maybe you note it down and then we can have a question answer session at the end. All right. हाँ ना बोलो कुछ.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Chalo. So Santosh, over to you.
yes. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing fine, staying safe.
Santosh, just sorry, if you could turn on your camera.
Okay. Yeah, can you see me?
Yes, yes, yes.
yes, sir.
All right.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are doing fine and staying safe in these chaotic times. So today I'm here just to explain about the workflow of how some of the e-commerce company functions. What is the job opportunity? What are the job opportunities? What are the prospects? And how their workflow functions for right from the photography till the final product, which ends with the editing of an image, and when it goes on their portal for selling. So basically, just to brief about myself, I'm a professional photographer and a retoucher, and I'm currently working with an US company for more than 3 years now. And my work profile consists mainly about post-production of the images we shoot in our US studio. And it's a very mass scale of production because this company is into shooting and selling their apparels all over the e-commerce portals. So they have their in-house studio in US. Yeah.
So, Santosh, maybe if you could tell us about the overall workflow that your company has, maybe like from the beginning, let's say when photograph is taken till the end result, how exactly, what are the steps, how exactly these things move forward?
A lot of thinking process goes before we launch any product in the market. There is a full-fledged marketing team, art directors, and senior level management professionals who decide, who forecast what is the demand of the market, what will cater to the market 6 months down the line or maybe 1 year down the line. And it involves a lot of thinking process, like which color will be useful for which will be the fashion color for the next season. So right now I'm working on images which will be used at last quarter of 2021. So this much forecasting is being done whenever we are going in the market with any kind of new product or some refurbishing of the existing product. So the process starts from what is the requirement of the market, what the market needs, how they can optimize their sale maybe after 6 months or 1 year down the line. So the marketing team, the production team, the directors, they decide which product they have to launch. They study the market, and if they already have some of their products online, how they can improve their products, maybe by way of introducing a new fashion color or bringing some changes into symmetry of that garment, and how they can cater to the increasing need of the market, and how can they tap the bigger share of the market. The market is very competitive. There are a lot of competitors in the market. So we have to think one step ahead always whenever we are thinking of going into the market with our products. So basically, once once they decide what kind of product they are going to launch, then the role goes to a photographer. We have an in-house photographer in our US studio. So he's being told what kind of product is being launched, will be launching. And then a lot of sketching, lot of artwork takes in place. And accordingly, some sample garments are made. And those sample garments are shoot mostly on white background. But with the changing scenario of e-commerce industry, it's not always on white background anymore. We are bringing a lot of changes. Sometimes we do involve a tinted background according to the market need, according to what our competitors are offering, and who is like whose sales is skyrocketing according to how they are presenting their products on their websites. So once a photographer comes into the picture, it's being decided that the product will be shoot on a ghost image, or it will be a pinup or on a model. So now let me tell you what is the ghost image. So ghost image is when you wear when the garment is shoot on a mannequin. So that is called a ghost image. A pinup is which is the latest trend in e-commerce market. Pinup, or like hanging your garment to a hanger and then shooting it, which gives a very realistic effect when you see those photographs on any e-commerce portal. Yeah, so the photographer is being told whether the image will be shot on a mannequin, or will it be a pinup, or will it be on model shoot. Then the photographer shoots raw images. Once the photographer shoots all the images of a particular garment, yeah, several images are being clicked. Then the director, art director, and a senior management level of company, they decide which of the images they are going to choose and portray on their website portal for the sale. So some selections are being done out of those images, which we all do whenever a shoot takes place. I may click 100 images, but not all the images I am going to use. So very few basic selects are being used, and then the retoucher comes into the picture. So several such selects are being made, and then they send it to their post-production houses, which are in various parts of the world, not only in India. And yeah, we are operating in India, and we are handling their India post-production division. So that's how the process is, from the think tank process of the management till the retoucher of the company.
Okay, so Santosh, when these images, how basically these are allocated to you? I'm sure there are several retouching artists who are working or associated with your company, maybe in, let's say, in India office or any other office. So once these images are allocated to you, what is process of what is your process, or what is the retouching process?
All the e-commerce companies have like certain customized software. Like there are several software companies which are selling softwares in the market. Some of them use Workfront, some of them use certain other software. So all the tasks, all the details of what kind of tasks are available for retouching are being fed into such kind of software, and which is remotely accessible all over the world if you have company ID, if you are that company's employee. So your login will be created, and it will be dedicated to such software and their portal. So whenever I start my day, I log in my credentials to that software. Then I go on that their portal. We use Workfront, and in Workfront.
So this is basically, sorry to cut you off. This is basically a Google Dropbox kind of thing, but little more sophisticated way of
Yes. It
distributing.
is
Okay.
dedicated, and it is customized according to several companies' needs, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and there you get all the information about what tasks are available for retouching. And then suppose if I pick up a task A, then I will log in my credential against that task. So if you also log in and if you also try to access the same information, you will come to know that, yeah, task A is being worked by Santosh or anybody else, so that the repetition of work will be avoided. There will be no duplication of work. Then you will move on to another task and you will log that task in your name. So that's how it works.
Okay, okay, okay. So another question that I have, that since we have a lot of students here, so if you could speak maybe from job perspective point of view, or how would you like to, what you would like to maybe tell them that about this particular field of work, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yes, about working in an e-commerce company, about maybe it's photography or maybe it's in the post-production division. The opportunities are several. Like one biggest advantage of working with an e-commerce company is the production is in like large volumes. A large volume of images are being created, and they are being retouched day in, day out. Every company has its SOPs about what strict guidelines they are going to follow while retouching those images and how they want their final product to be seen on the web. So a lot of opportunities are available in the market. There are several e-commerce companies which are doing their business through websites only. And yeah, majority of companies who have their store and who are doing selling their products to e-commerce companies, I have seen, I guess, around 70 to 80% of their business comes through e-commerce marketing, and maybe they have presence, actual presence, physical presence on the ground through their stores only 15 to 20 to 30%. So yeah, e-commerce market is a very big one. You can there are ample opportunities available, so anybody can tap onto it. And if you see whatever is happening from the last year due to this pandemic, which has taken place, we felt that it is getting over by the end of 2020, but now we are reeling under second wave. And I guess most of the things are being sold or being bought only through e-commerce sites. So the potential is huge. The market is very much intact over there, and it is booming. So yeah, the opportunities are ample, I would say, for e-commerce
Okay.
companies. And I
Okay.
guess due to
And
this
yeah.
pandemic thing, the market, the face of the market is going to change in a, if if I can use this word, in more permanent way. By, you know, the transactions would be happening, most of the people would be comfortable in doing these transactions online rather than going out there in the open and you know, buying or buying that stuff from the store. I won't say that people will stop venturing out or go to the store. They will not do that. But yeah, the pandemic has certainly created
Right, it
a
has
huge
also
impact.
kind of changed mindset of people.
Mindset
It
of the
also have
customer. Yeah.
definitely have told people, or shown them that it's very convenient and much easier. A lot
Yes.
of people I know that they were a little hesitant about buying things online, but now
Yes.
since there is no way, they got introduced to this new way, and they're understanding this. So yeah, I understand that.
Yes. More and more people are getting comfortable with this idea.
So this is like a very booming field, and particularly it's directly connected to photographers and editors. So I believe that there is a lot of career opportunity in this.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Next thing I would like to ask them to. So let's say if somebody has a particular skill set and wants to join this kind of organization, let's say for you, did they give you any kind of training after joining the organization? How that particular process work?
See, the hiring process starts from like whenever a company opens a position, okay, for such kind of work, they decide beforehand only that what are we looking for? Are we looking for junior level of retoucher or advanced level of retoucher or a lead kind of role? So accordingly only the positions are open and the interviews are being conducted in that manner only. So if they are opening a position for junior level retoucher or junior level retoucher, then they will give you, yeah, of course, it will be, there will be several steps before hiring. There will be several interviews, and especially the biggest one is practical interview, where they will conduct a test online, and like very senior level of management level of people will be watching you completing that task in a prescribed manner. Because when you are dealing with a company, everything is time bound. If
Right.
Sachin, if I am taking an assignment from you, suppose you have shot some images, right?
Hmm.
And if you are delegating that work to me, Santosh, I want these images to be retouched. Okay. uh,
Hmm.
on uh, on individual basis, the time restrictions or time constraints are not that harsh, but when you are dealing with a company, everything is very much time bound. So whenever the hiring happens, an image or certain tasks are being delegated to you, and they just calculate the time, and they arrive at your efficiency on the basis of in how much time you have completed that task and how efficiently. Accordingly, your skill set is being judged, and
Okay.
then if you fit into their criteria, then only you are being hired. And once you are hired, like, of course, there are several training sessions or training opportunities company provide. Your manager, there are several people who are dedicated only for training support. Yeah, for at least for 1 or 2 months, you are being given a thorough training about your work profile. And of course, you keep getting a lot of help and support from your colleagues, from your manager, from your trainers throughout the year. So yeah, training support is given like in a very good way once you join the
Okay.
company.
Okay. So this is more like like corporate setup, we can say, like even though it is connected to photography and editing,
Yes,
this is
yes,
a very
it's
corporate setup that
yes,
you
and
guys work in.
very much structured way, very much structured way. I never would
Okay.
have thought before joining a corporate company like this that the Photoshop work can be so much organized and so much structured. Yeah, like
Okay.
that one thing I learned after joining this company, and it really has benefited me. It really has benefited me.
Okay. Next is, what do you think? What do you think are the, since I'm sure that a lot of students, they are maybe interested uh, in this particular field after hearing you out. But what are the pros and cons that you would like to, say about this particular uh, field or this kind of work?
Pros and cons, if I have to start with pros, I can tell you, as I've said earlier, I'm repeating it again. A lot of ample opportunities are available in the market due to
Hmm.
the change scenario of the this kind of market. So first and foremost, a large volume of employment is being generated, and
Hmm.
companies keep looking out for more and more such people, like photographers, be it photographers or be it retoucher. Of course, you are being hired by a global company, so the pay scale is decent enough according to the industry standards, because you are being like everything is being paid on dollar basis. So they convert, of course, they convert it into rupees. So the pay scale is a decent one. And of course, when you're working in a corporate setup, there are several opportunities you get to develop your skills and to climb the hierarchy. You just don't only remain a retoucher. Like, you may join as a retoucher in a company, but if your skill set is awesome, if your manager or if your superiors like your work, then they give you training for auditing of images. Like, that will be the next step, means you are going to curate work which is done by your team members, and you will be one of the part or process which will decide which images are apt enough to go on the web. Or if your team member has completed one of the tasks, what are the shortcomings he hasn't noticed, or what things he can do to improve in his work and to make that image look more beautiful and which is apt enough to go on your web portal. So a lot of growth is offered when you work in a corporate setup for such kind of roles. Yeah, so these are some of the pros I can tell you. About cons, if you ask me, uh, if I talk from my individual point of view, I guess if you are being hired by a global company, maybe just one con I face so far, just one disadvantage is like I have to work in a different time zone rather than India, time zone. So that is the only disadvantage I have found out. Yeah, that's it.
So mostly you'll be doing, night shifts and or second shifts and
Yes,
things
yes,
like
yes. So I'm permanently, like most of the people permanently work on night shift or second shift. It also depends on like for which time zone you're working. If you're working
that.
for,
Right, right. Your employer
yeah,
is
yeah,
maybe somewhere in Europe
maybe
or
Australian,
somewhere
maybe
in
yeah,
yeah.
maybe European, or maybe American. So it also
Right,
depends.
right,
Yeah.
right. All right. So, Santosh, can we maybe see some of the process that you do on the picture? Maybe you can explain, show few things on Photoshop, and maybe you can explain while doing it.
Yes, sure. I can show you. Like,
I'll just open uh, the for question. Let's see if we have any questions so far. Guys, anyone, do you have any questions? Whatever we discussed so far, maybe if you can turn on your mic and ask, or you can write down in chat section. Anything? Shall we go ahead then?
Yeah, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. Santosh, so maybe you can explain on few images what kind of work basically that you have to do.
yes. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is one of the image which is again shot by Sachin sir only.
So
So
guys, he's using images by me for this reason. See, so far we've been discussing, and it's a very strong, tight corporate process. So they have certain policy in the company. He cannot use actual images to demonstrate to you guys. So we have picked few images on which he can show exact similar work that he does on his company images. All right. So you will clearly get an idea what kind of work this is happening, he is going to do, or he is doing on regular basis. Yeah, Santosh.
yes, thank you. So suppose this is one of the shot which is being shot in a studio, photography studio. So the selects are being made, like maybe several other shots are also being shot, and this was one of the final image which was selected by the art director of the company, and it is going to go on the portal, and it comes to a retoucher. So it comes in a raw format, like this will be named as layer 0, or we name it as a background layer. And background layer is the one, like it is like as good as raw image. So you should not be working on background layer ever. Why is that
So
so?
Santosh, just one question. When
Yes.
you say raw, what is the file format that you get? Do you get JPEG, you get TIFF, or you get actual CR2
No, no,
files?
we always get high resolution CR2.
CR2s. Okay,
No
okay,
JPEGs, no, like it has to be high resolution image. And if it is not being delivered in high resolution format, we send it back.
okay,
We can, like, we can write an email that image quality is not good enough.
okay, okay.
Okay,
All right.
so this is, suppose this is the raw image and this is the background layer. This is the only layer we get. A retoucher should not be working on the background layer ever. Why is that so? Because if anything goes wrong with the image, okay, of course we will have a backup with the photographer, but our company shot in volumes, hundreds and thousands of images on month basis. So we can't keep bothering photographer that this particular image is being spoiled and we need raw again. So that will impact the workflow in a bigger way. So first and foremost, the main important thing is nobody, no retoucher should be working on the background layer. So what we do, what we make a copy of the background layer, we switch this background layer off. So even by accident, we will not be touching this layer. Then from the background copy layer, we start our working. First and foremost thing we do while working in an e-commerce setup is to clip the image. Very important thing. Like I can show you, I have clipped this image earlier only. So I have made this path, if you can see, with the help of pen tool. So once we create such path, like this is full body, full model and full model image I have clipped. Why I have clipped full model image? If I want to change the background, if it is going to be showcased on a white background, then I will have to clip a full model image. I have clipped only garment as well, if you can see. So why garment? If I have to just work on the garment part and nothing else, background will remain intact, shoes will remain intact, the skin will remain intact. So if I have to work only on the garment part, I have selected garment. And this, just to showcase you guys one example, I've just created this path of, and how it is going to affect in the workflow, I'll show you later. So these 3 paths I have created. So for after creating this path, the next step would be command click on select your path and command click. So once the image is being selected, you go into the channel and make channel mask. Of course, channel mask is a different name for layer mask also, but according to our company's SOP and workflow, we must have to create channel mask. Why channel mask? I'll tell you, because this image is RGB format. We also work in CMYK format, which is a print image. So because we also print our images through catalog, we keep shuffling between using RGB images to CMYK, CMYK images to RGB. Okay, RGB images are used only for web, and CMYK images are used only for prints. So if any suppose any image which was shot for CMYK print image or a catalog, and the art director likes that image, and he or she tells us, I want to use this image for our web portal. So that image will come to retoucher in CMYK format, not in RGB format. But of course, if I have to showcase it on my web portal, I can't do that in CMYK format. I have to convert that image into RGB format. So while converting that image from CMYK to RGB, these channels, come what may, this layer mask will go, they will not remain. All the layer mask will go once you convert an image from RGB to CMYK, but your channels will remain intact. How it benefits you? Because it saves you a lot of time just by selecting these channels. Otherwise, if you are just using channel mask and if you convert that image format, your layer mask will go, and then you will have to create all the paths again. You will have to clip images according to the company's workflow, which is actually a tedious work if you are dealing in volumes. That's why these channels are important. So we are being told to create channels, and then we use those channels in various stages of workflow. So I have created channels here, different channels. I'm deselecting that channel by pressing Command D. Then this is my retouch layer, which is a background copy. Suppose in a garment, if a art director says that this fold, I don't like this fold, I want to remove this fold. So there are several ways and means to remove this fold. One is by patch tool, one is by stamp tool, or you can also use frequency separation. But please be careful whenever you guys are using frequency separation, because if you are not good at it, or if you don't have ample amount of practice while using frequency separation, that can actually be destructive. So please be careful while using frequency separation. I'll just show you a small example of how a patch tool work here. So I'm using this patch tool. I'm selecting this fold. Okay, very important thing, you have to feather this selection, otherwise it will look very patchy or splotchy. So I'm using a feather of by pressing Shift F6. I'm giving it a feather of maybe 0.5 pixels. So this fold is gone. Okay, same way you can remove this fold by frequency separation. I'll show you how. So you guys are like familiar with frequency separation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do I have to explain the process of how you use frequency separation?
Yes, sir. Can you
No,
please
Santosh,
explain?
Yes, so
Yes, okay.
guys, you have learned frequency separation.
so we are in SEM 2. We have not
Okay,
learned.
some of you have not. Okay, all right.
Okay,
So
okay, no
Santosh,
problem.
maybe
Yes, yes,
if
yes.
you could do it quickly.
Yes, so if I want to use frequency separation on this layer, background copy, so I'll make two layer duplicate copies of this layer, background copy 2. I will rename it just for my convenience, A and B. A layer, I will use the filter noise. I will go into the filter noise. I will use median. I will keep value of median anything between 5 to 8, not less than that, not more than that. That is ideal value for frequency separation. Okay, so I'm using 5 to 8. So I'm keeping it 5 pixels median for A layer. Then I go on B layer. I go into image. I use apply image. In apply image, these are very important steps. Layer I will select here will be our previous layer, which is A. Then blending mode will be subtract. And always remember these values. These values has to be scaled to offset 128. These are the frequency separation settings. Okay, the image will look like this. Here I will change the blending mode to linear light. Okay, so basically layer A will pertain for the color, for the mixing of color, and layer B will keep intact the structure, means for this fold or the fabric of the garment. So I'm using mixer brush here. Are you guys familiar by to use pen tab?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to brush, changing the brush mode to mixer brush. You can customize these values according to how comfortable you are using the frequency separation. A beginner should be keeping these values lesser because otherwise it can be destructive. So if I want to blend the color, I will use layer A and I will just start brushing it. So you can see the shadow is getting minimized here because we are blending the color. So the lighter part is also getting applied here. But since we want to remove this fold, so I will go on layer B and then I'll use stamp tool. I'll pick portion from beside it. Maybe this portion. I'll just start stamping it. Now these patches you are seeing, like, so which I can get rid of by again applying the mixer brush. Yeah.
Okay, Santosh, just 1 minute. So those who are particularly from SEM2, guys, we will be doing this again, okay, like this, all of this process, but you try and understand as much possible, but don't stress so much because, somebody, me or Subhash, or somebody will be teaching you this in detail and step by step, okay?
So yeah, to remove such kind of unflattering folds or creases, whenever an image comes for retouching, so sometimes they give us markups like they don't want this crease or this fold, or sometimes an advanced level of retoucher have to take his judgment or have to take call according to his aesthetic viewpoint, like which can look better if this fold has to go or remain. That call he or she can take according to his individual judgments. So in retouching part, we are being told to make garment look like proper, but at the same time, these days trend is you cannot over retouch it. You cannot simply, just because this garment may be having 10 folds, you cannot remove all the folds, because at the same time, whenever your product is going online, it should look realistic. Because a lot of time it happens that customer complains that whatever you are showing on your web portal and whatever we are getting, there is a lot of difference in the texture of the fabric. Because if you over retouch this image, it will look much smoother, but the fabric itself may not be that smoother, and then your product may get returned, and which will result in loss to the company. So there are certain SOPs or guidelines we are being told by the company not to over retouch any product, just minimal retouching, and keep all the major details from the photography. So yeah, so in retouching part, we have to remove such kind of folds, or if not remove, if it is looking too much for eyes, means whenever you open the image, if this image is the most striking one rather than the entire fabric, then you can just means soften this fold rather than removing it. Because understand one thing, the model is standing in such a way with her hands in the pockets. This fold in a natural way has to be there. If you remove this fold, it will look very unnatural, and it will leave a lot of retouching stresses over there. So that is not advisable. So yeah, such kind of things you have to take care while retouching these garments. Then I merge this frequency separation layer, and I will merge it with my background retouch layer. I will name it as retouch. Okay, now the next part comes is when the image is fully retouched, then it again goes for base approval. Like the art director or your manager will approve if the image has got all the is fine with all the retouching techniques. Means if anything has been left, suppose this image can come back again to the retoucher. They may say that this crease is not fine. It looks that the fabric is not ironed. Then maybe such things we have to take care of in round 2. But most of the time, image gets passed in round 1 or at the most in round 2. So this is the retouching technique. Then comes the coloring part in picture. So for coloring part, I have to select the garment only, because I am going to change color of the garment, not of anything else. So, and we are being told if they want the final image on white background or the same background is okay. So if they tell us that they want the image to be on white background, then this channel will come into the picture. We will make a group of this, and we'll apply this channel or layer mask to this group. And I'll use a white background here. Now I have to recolor this shirt in various colors, not only in one color. And this color will keep changing year after year, months after months, whenever company is launching according to the latest season or whatever is in fashion, which color is in fashion in market. So suppose any shade of blue if I have to use on this shirt. So what will I do? I will take a blank layer. I'll make a group of it. And I have created channel only for the shirt. That means whatever I'll be doing will be applied only to this shirt. I'll give a mask to this group, and then I will go into the adjustment layer menu. I will use this menu. Please watch this step very carefully. I will use this menu and I will use this option solid color. Okay, in solid color, suppose I have to use such kind of shade. So the values are pre-decided. Let me tell you, like, these values, RGB values. Suppose if they are going to use the color red or fuchsia or pewter or navy, there are ample amount of color and color libraries. So the colors are being decided by the art director that this shirt will be sold in 10 different colors, be it navy, fuchsia, red, pewter, black, white. And when they say that I want this color in, I want this shirt to be recolored in fuchsia, they give us these values, these RGB values. Okay, and that is called swatch. So if you see, I have changed the RGB values here. Okay, so this will be my color fill layer. I will duplicate it. I'll turn off this mask to black. I'll keep this mask white only, but I'll change the blending mode to color. I'll change the blending mode to color. And just to see if the swatch is matching or not, I'll just draw that color swatch here. So basically, I have to match somewhere closer to this color swatch, these color lines, because this is the color which is going to go finally on the web. So I'm going here, I'm using curve. And I will try to match anywhere, any point in this swatch. So you can see the swatch is matching here, our shirt color, and the swatch is matching somewhere here. So this way the colors are being changed of a garment. If I have to apply another color, I'll again change the RGB values. So this is typically pewter color. So this is the solid color layer for pewter, for which the RGB values are 61, 61, 61. Okay, I'll make a duplicate color layer of this color fill layer. I'll turn this mask into black by pressing Command Delete. I'll keep this as white only, but always remember your color fill layer blending mode should always be color, and your swatch color layer blending mode should always be normal. Just to see if the swatch is matching or not, I'll draw on the shirt. That means my job will be done when this color and this line is matching somewhere. So here you can see it's almost matching, but still if you want to do any adjustment, if you want to make it lighter, you can do that just by the curve technique and adjusting some curves. So you can see the shirt was earlier just black, but it has been changed to pewter. It was changed to a tone of red earlier. So this is how the process works. Sachin, one thing I would like to add here is about model baseline, which I didn't cover earlier. Suppose this model has a contract with an e-commerce company. Okay. So year after year, several means the same model is being used for the photo shoot. or showcase their product. So the company decides about this model and about this garment, which will go hand in hand. If this model may have had some tattoo here, okay, but it is
Okay.
going against the garment, means this will not look apt while selling this kind of garment. So we are being told to remove the tattoos. Okay, if this model has long nails, okay, here it is not, but sometimes models do have long nails. So we are being told to take care of that as well, because if suppose this garment will be used for certain industry like health industry or chef industry, then a person who will be wearing this garment should not be having long nails, because the kind of work that person will be doing should be that person should be hygienic enough. So this is the
Right.
part of model baseline, where we are being told to do minimal retouching for the model skin and take care of such things like, if the nails are proper or not, if there are any tattoos, or if the model is wearing any earring or not. So you have to remove that. So that comes into skin retouching.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions about that? Any questions about how did I change the color, or any doubts?
Guys, anyone?
Hi, Sachimansi here.
Yeah.
Santosh, is there a way you can show us how it cannot match? I mean, you showed us how to match the colors, right, with the swatch and all of that. So something that you can go wrong and tell us this is what is wrong in it. This is how we can spot it.
See, most of the time, Mansi, what happens, when the garment is retouched and shot, it is shot from that point of view only, that what colors they are going to apply on that garment. So most of the time, going wrong in coloring is very difficult. Yeah, but a retoucher can be more efficient in matching that color in more efficient way, and a certain retoucher can be less efficient. But going wrong completely, it's difficult, because the shots are being photographed only from that point of view. Because whenever the requirement comes, most of the time e-commerce companies shoot their garments on seal color, not on black or white, because recoloring any white or black garment is a bit difficult than recoloring a seal garment.
What is seal garment?
Seal garment is means a cyan based color. Means
Okay,
it is cyan based color, because it is known that changing colors of a seal garment is very much easier, and it gives you good result than any
Okay.
other color. Because suppose I'll tell you one example. This is black, okay, and if I have to make it white, it will be very challenging.
Right.
It can be
Right.
done, but it will not give you optimum results. Yeah,
Right.
Mansi, you were asking about how can I go wrong if an image comes like this, and your requirement is like, you are telling me change the color to white. I can change the color to white, but the result will be not desired one, and the image may not look apt enough or proper enough to go on a website portal. So that time the retoucher can step in and say, the shot is being shot on black, the photo is being shot on black. I need a photograph where the garment was lighter color or shot on white.
Okay, got
Right.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I will show you how I can go wrong if the requirement to change this color to white. I will show you. So the white values are, I'm again turning on this group. Okay, let's give it a name of pewter color. So we have recolored from black to pewter. Now I have to change it to white. So I'm again taking one new layer, grouping it. I'm renaming it to white. Okay. I've gone to adjustment layer again. Again, my process has started. In adjustment layer, you will find this topmost option called solid color. Okay. In solid color, RGB values for white is normally 237, 239, 239. Okay, so this is actually the white color which an e-commerce company sells on its portal, on their garment, I mean to say. Okay, so
Okay,
this is my
this is
color.
also something, there's a new knowledge because we always thought that, you know, white is 255, 255, 255 value. But for e-commerce particularly, it is slightly, you know, lighter gray
Yeah,
basically.
yes,
Oh,
not 255, 255 and all. It is being used for
it's
background,
basically
not
the
for the
background. Yeah,
background,
right,
not for the
right,
garments
right,
and all. Because other there will be a complete whitewash and there won't
right,
be any kind of details in 255.
right,
So
right.
I have created this color fill layer for white. The values are 237, 239, 239. Again, I'm doing the repeating the same process. I'm copying this color fill layer. I'm masking this black. I'll keep this white only because this is our main color fill layer, but I'll change the blending mode to color. Okay, and I will again draw swatch of white color on this mask. See, now my garment color should be adjusted to match this white color swatch. So I am going on curves. One very important thing, my curves layer should always be below my color fill layer. Otherwise, it will always give you wrong results. Always keep that in mind. So I've started adjusting it to change the color from black to white. Now see what will happen. The curve is being getting clipped and still I'm not getting the result. I will not get result because the garment is total black and it had no traces of white, no color gamut for white. So this kind of result you will get. You can still add one more curve and just, if you see the swatch is somewhere, swatch will somewhere match here. But look at the quality of the image. This way we can't showcase it on the web portal. So that's when a retoucher has to step in and tell his manager or his superiors, I can't color this garment from black to white because there is no color gamut available. There are no details of white available while this shot was being photographed. So again, the same garment will be shot in white color garment. Yeah.
Right. Santosh, maybe since we have a little bit time constraint, maybe can we move to some another example so that students will get to see some variation. I think you were
Yes.
discussing
Okay.
about you know, textured file and also changing the color of white to other
Yes.
colors.
Yes. I will show you one example where we are dealing with print images. Like this shirt has design, right? Okay, for which we have to use recoloring technique in a different way. I'll show you how. So originally the shot was like this. Okay, but we have to change the shirt base color, which is of a blue shade somewhere here. Okay, suppose for fall 2021 season, I need to make it more bright. So how am I going to use it? I cannot use the same technique which I used here earlier. Why I cannot use? Because if I use that technique, then this black white spot will also be getting selected and it will change color for white spot also. See, so I have to keep these white spots intact and I have to change only this base color of the shirt. Okay, so there is a different color technique, recoloring technique for this. I'll show you how. My shirt is retouched and all. I'm just doing the recoloring now here. So again, very important thing, I have created a channel for Jane shirt. Okay, I had clipped that Jane shirt. I had created a channel for Jane shirt. Then I made a recoloring group. Okay, actually this is Jane shirt. Okay, then I have to change the base color of this shirt into something neon blue like this. So what I did, I went to the retouching layer, the retouched layer, base layer. I went there. I used the option called select color range. Very important thing. I went on the retouched layer. Before recoloring this, I went on the retouch layer. I went to option select color range. In color range, you will get this kind of pens, like you have to pick the color. Okay, which color you want to change. So I have to change this color. Okay, so I'm picking up this. You have to pick up the highlighted area, the shadow area, and the mid-tone area. So that entire shirt is being covered. So I'm picking the highlighted area, then shift plus, and I'm picking this shadow area, again some more shadow area, so that everything is being covered while recoloring this shirt. Okay, you can see the shirt has got white here. That means majority of it is already covered. But what has happened here, while selecting this, some of the white color or some other color also has been selected. So if I will change the color of the shirt, it will change color of this pant also, if you can see, because this color tone and this color tone of the pant was kind of similar. So when I picked this color, it picked up selection for this pant also. So you can see what is going to be recolored. So my shirt is going to be recolored, my pant is going to be recolored, and some of the background also, whatever is in white will be recolored. So how can I avoid that? So I've selected this for now. I press OK, but I want to recolor only shirt. So that's when the channel comes into the picture, and I gave a layer mask of shirt only. So whatever changes I'll be applying into recoloring will be limited to shirt only and not to anything else. If you see the selection, lot other things are also being selected here. So I've go here into gent shirt, and I apply this mask here, which I was selected in select color range mode. Now I use solid color layer technique. So these are the values 15, 46 to 38. So I go here, solid color layer. Which color I want to apply? RGB values I have beforehand, 15, 46, 238. Okay. So this is going to be my color fill layer. I again duplicate it. I'll mask the above layer as black. I'll keep this blending mode as normal only, and I'll keep this mask white, and I'll change the blending mode to color mode. Okay, and then again with the help of curve, I'll adjust it whatever, like how much brightness I want in this color. So if you see, the swatch is matching somewhere. See here, the swatch and the shirt color has been blended into. So whenever you're working with an e-commerce portal or e-commerce company, the swatch has to match at one point. If you're going to match swatch everywhere, then the image will look very flat. It is not possible to match your color along with the swatch in shadows, highlights, or mid-tone area. So you have to decide in which portion you are going to match the swatch. So somewhere it is matching, so my recolor is done. So earlier the shirt was like of this color. I changed it to this color. Since it had these micro design dots, I had to use select color range option and not a random technique of solid color. I just cannot simply color the shirt in the previous way which I had shown you. Any questions or doubt in this process?
Sir, if
Santosh, I have one question.
Yes.
So now you changed to a different shade of blue.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you have to change it to completely different color, can we do that as well?
See, the such kind of designs, whenever they are short, they come for retouching for color correction, not to change the entire color, because it is little difficult. I'll show you what happens.
For
If I-
example, if we have to go from blue to green, or some absolutely
Yes,
different color.
maybe blue to red. If
Okay.
I'm going to use this shade, it is still possible. But whenever we shoot any garment with designs or print into it, they are just being color corrected. They are not, we don't change color of the garment into prints. Normally any e-commerce portal company doesn't do that. Yeah, most of the time. So the garment
Okay.
is being shot on actual color, and due to the photography limitation, garment colors are being changed. So we just color correct it most of the time. But I've shown you, you can change the color. You can change the color, like
Right,
just by
right.
pressing, introducing these values. So from blue, it has become red.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Santosh, I have one question.
Yes.
What about the calibration part? I mean, I'm sure you must have you must be facing challenges about your screen, you working on your screen, and then client is seeing it differently or something like that.
Yeah. So when we showcase our products on e-commerce portal, we are being told to calibrate our monitor so that the real color remains intact whenever we are recoloring it to the garment. So you can see this symbol. My monitor is being calibrated. So
Right.
there is a machine called monitor calibration. So we have to do it every month. Once it turns green, that means your monitor is being calibrated. So whatever color you are doing here and whatever color you are showing on your website portal, your garment will have like around 90 to 95% the same shade of color. So there shouldn't be any problem with your client that there is a color difference or something like that. So for that, yeah, you're right, very important point. Your monitor should be calibrated. You get various companies monitor calibration machines, and there is a software called Ivan Studio, and we have to keep calibrating our machines month after month. So we have set a reminder for first of every month. So on first of every month, we have to calibrate our machine.
Okay.
Yeah, and if your monitor calibration is not proper, this symbol, this turns into red. If it is proper, it is green, and if it is not done, it just remains gray.
Okay.
Yeah. So for that, the monitor calibration is important.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for this question, Nilesh sir. It was a really important question, I believe. Somebody else, I think Ravin, you wanted to ask something. I thought somebody wanted to ask.
I wanted to
Yeah.
ask, like, in this printed shirts, if there's a pattern and there is a fall of, like, there was a curve in the earlier shot. So if you want to correct those shirts and clone, then how can we clone that shirts? Because there is a certain pattern.
I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat that?
Like if there's a fold in the clothes in the shirt,
Yeah.
how can we correct those in the patterns? Because there's a certain flow of pattern.
Yes. So while shooting a printed material, most of the time photographer take care of that, because I'll show you. If you have to retouch or remove any fold from a printed shirt, it is very difficult. So whenever we shot any, whenever we shoot any garment with the printed material, we take care that there are minimum such mistakes or folds, or if even if is some fold is that, like how you can see there is this fold, right? Okay, so if I want to remove this fold, what I can do, I can again select the patch tool. I can select this fold and select the design beside it, but you can see it leaves the traces of retouching. Other way of doing it is select this fold with the help of patch tool. Okay, and then press Shift F5 and fill it with content aware. See if it can give you good result. So it is picking up the portion from beside this fold and it is filling in there. But now I have shown you, you can see certain kind of traces are being left in this retouching. So then the art director decides whether this fold has to go or it cannot go. If it has to go mandatory, then a retoucher have to use his advanced skill levels of patching this fold or stamping this fold in a proper way so that retouching traces won't be visible enough even after doing that. Means I will have to literally pick up these dots and place it in a symmetrical way after removing this fold. So yeah, we have to do that sometimes, but not most of the times. Printed garments are being shot very carefully because they know removing something out of that printed garment is a challenge, and basically it is a time consuming process.
Ravin, from photography point of view, I can add something to this. So when this particular image was shot, the selection of the model is also done such a way that he has very precise physic for that fit of that shirt. Okay, so there will be minimal folds, at the time of the shooting also. So we remember we actually had got 3 to 4 different models. We asked them to wear this shirt and check the fitting. This particular guy, he had a body which was very much aligned to the fittings of the this particular
Yeah,
shirt.
that's what I felt,
And
Sachin,
yeah.
after seeing this shot, that whatever folds are there, they are not unflattering one and they are very realistic one.
Yeah,
So I could
so
see,
while
I guess for
shooting,
this shoot,
right,
the stylist was very much in places, and the stylist made it sure that shirt is looking proper with minimum amount of creases and folds. And even if there are any folds, they are adding to the photo, not
right,
like
right,
destroying the photo. Yeah.
right. Okay, we can move ahead, Santosh. Maybe you can show changing of the color on white garment.
Yes, I can show. So again, I had used the channel for the white shirt because I'll be changing color of the white garment. Okay. I created a group like this. Do you want me to repeat the process or are you guys aware now?
Sir, it's okay. You can just go ahead.
Okay, so I've created a group here and named it as female shirt. Okay, I have used this channel, which I had selected this shirt earlier with the help of the pen tool, and I selected this shirt. I created a channel. I applied this channel here for the group, and now from white, I was being told. Means I'm just giving a hypothetical example. I was being told to use any dark blue shade. So the RGB values. Sorry, my mistake. So I'll go here in adjustment layer mode. I'll use this solid color layer option. Once I use this solid color layer option, you will get symbol like this. So if I click here, this dialog box will be open and RGB values are set for this color. So here it is 6, 38, 59. Okay. I have made a copy of this. Why? Because I want to see if the color swatch is matching with the recoloring we have done or not. So you can see this color is matching here. Always remember one thing: whenever you are recoloring any shirt or garment to dark color, always keep in mind that you have to match that color into your shadow areas, not into mid-tone or highlight area, because otherwise the color will change drastically. Whenever you are matching a lighter color with the swatch, then you have to match that swatch and you are recoloring in highlighted area, not in shadow or mid-tone area. And whenever you are matching a color which is of neutral value, say seal or pewter, you can match it in mid-tone range. Yeah. So I have used this color to recolor it to white. And if you can see, I purposely kept this area as it is, so that you can see while selecting the shirt, I could select the outer border of the shirt, these buttons, because these buttons have to remain white. But how are you going to select these hairs? So sometimes it becomes very difficult, because lot of model have curly hair and which falls on the garment, actual garment. So it becomes very difficult, time consuming, or sometimes impossible to select the hair streak in a very proper way. So what we do there, we add this hair by drawing this hair. We called it as a wisp layer. So I'll show you. I am introducing a blank layer here. I'm naming it as wisp. And with the help of the pen tab, I'll just keep drawing hair streaks on this white garment so that it won't be visible. I'm picking the hair color. And these hair streak I'll keep drawing here. So it looks like now part of the hair. We have filled those gaps in between the hair. And you don't have to worry about it's looking white even after it was recolored to black. But you have to do it in a very natural, very aesthetic way while drawing those wisps. Otherwise, they look very bad. And of course, with wisps also, you cannot go overboard, because when you zoom into that image, it looks like they are drawn. So they should look natural. Yeah. So this is one of the way whenever a model hair is falling on the garment, but you cannot clip those hairs properly, because the model may be having curly hair or such kind of hair. So there you have to draw artificial or new hair streak with the help of your pen tab. Yeah, so this was the way I changed the color from the white to blue. Earlier it was like this. I picked up the value of shirt color like 638.59, which is a shade of blue. I used the color fill layer. I duplicated it. I kept this blending mode as color. I kept the above color fill layer blending mode as normal. I've drawn the swatch over here, and with the help of the curve, I have matched the shirt color. I'll show you how did I match. The curve was like this. While doing any adjustment with the curve, always keep one thing in mind, that a curve point should not get clipped anywhere. Like this point should not be touching here, otherwise it can be destructive. Yeah, so as I said earlier, this is darker shade of color, and I'm trying to match it in shadow area. That is the golden rule while playing with the recoloring part. Yeah, any questions?
Okay, Santosh. So one more thing, that let's say, for example, when we were working on a darker gray shade earlier,
Okay.
so you said that we cannot go till maybe white, or we have those restrictions there. So when you're working on white, when your base color basically is white,
Yes.
what are the restrictions? Maybe if you can show a particular color which is very difficult or impossible to match.
Making garment from, again, vice versa, making it from white to black is a challenging thing. I'll show you.
Okay.
Black RGB values are always 36, 36, 36. Okay. So I have changed this color fill layer color value. So now it has become black color fill layer. I'm just deleting this color layer. Again, as a part of our process, I'm duplicating this color fill layer. I'm using it as my swatch. I'm masking it to black, changing the color mode to normal. So your above color fill layer blending mode should always be normal and it should be masked to black. Why? Because we just have to use it to match our swatch. So this is the black color we should be bringing in our recoloring for this shirt. And this is our color fill layer where you have painted the shirt with black color, but the swatch is not matching. It is still not looking black. It is looking lighter black. Maybe this color can be called as pewter. So with the help of the adjustment curve, I will try to match it to black. So Sachin, you can see if I have to match it to black,
Right.
the adjustment curve is clipping here.
Right.
Okay, I can still match it, but what
It's going
happens?
very close. It's going very close compared to black to white.
Yeah, but and what happens, like you can see that we have lost so many details from changing the color drastically from white to black. If you see the kind of molding that this garment was giving, these folds, because I guess these frills are one of the major highlight of this garment, right? And you have to highlight that after your recoloring also, because this is one of the striking feature of this garment. But when I'm changing it from white to black, you can see it's looking very dull. See this part.
Also, it looks like it is made from a very different material. In white,
Different
you can
material,
see that
yeah.
it's a linen
Yeah,
garment.
so that texture
But
part
in
is
black,
gone. That texture part is gone. So this is one of the challenge from making it from white to black and black to white. You can still make it, but it's difficult. So normally black and white garments are being shot separately. It is easier because when you are dealing in larger volumes of your images, you cannot keep spending much of a time or from making it from black to white and white to black.
Right.
So rather just shoot it on a black or white garment. It's easier.
Okay. Guys, anybody has any questions?
Sir, while selecting pen tool for the selection of clothing, do we need to apply certain amount of feather while selection?
Can you please repeat your question?
Santosh, what he is asking is when you're making the selection for for particularly, let's say for shirt or any garment.
Yes.
So do you apply feather to that when you're doing that selection?
Yes, when I apply, it's better to apply a feather. When I have created a channel, I gave normally it depends from person to person again. My practice is to feather it 0.3 to 0.4. Suppose I have applied this, I have selected this channel, I'm using Shift F6. This is the feather selection. So feather radius is max to max 0.5, not more than that. It has to be 0.3 to 0.5 pixels, not more than that.
Okay. Anything
but
else?
When you are Sachin, when you are retouching a part of your shirt, okay, suppose and you have to get rid of this button and patch it with another part, then your feather should always be proper, like it should be 5 pixels or 10 pixels. Otherwise it will look patchy if you give less feather. But in recoloring, the feathering value should be 0.3 to 0.5 pixels, not more than that.
Okay. Any other question?
Sir, can you repeat the values for white RGB?
So normally 237, 239, 239.
Okay.
For black, it's 36, 36, 36.
Okay, so Santosh, what I have understood from this, I will quickly summarize this entire workflow basically from opening the file till the end. And if I'm missing out any point, maybe you can add. So first, you open a particular file which has come to you for editing. Okay, then the entire selection process is done. You create paths for entire image to separate the background. You also create paths just for the garment. So in case if you want to change the colors of the garment. After that, the base is edited, basically the skin and all those retouching at the same time,
Wrinkles and
whatever wrinkles and
unflattering folds.
right.
Yeah.
So those are removed, and
Yes.
then after that it is again sent for the approval. Once that base is approved, then whatever colors, new swatches are there, you guys change it to those swatches, right?
Yes. 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 And
Okay.
those
Now
swatches changes from season to season.
okay. After this, I have this one question, and I have a doubt for quite some time. So, what is the saving process of these files? Do you just save it as PSD, or there is anything else that you guys do?
Again, it depends from company to company. Like some companies are saving it, as PSD or TIFF, large format TIFFs, or some companies like what size they are going to project on their website portal, because not all the companies are using the same size format on their website portal. So we convert that file into smart object. Suppose this is a file, right? Okay. So this is a PSD file. So I'll tell you one. Just give me a second. I'm making a copy of it just to show that process.
Okay.
So suppose this is a raw file came to me as a for retouching. Okay. So first and foremost, I have to change it to a smart object. Smart object means I will be working on a high resolution TIFF file. The dimensions may be 3000 by 5000 pixels and all. Okay. But I'm not going to use such high resolution TIFF on my website portal, because you are going to upload thousands of images on your website portal. So not you cannot deal in such high volume of data on your website portal, because whenever you are uploading your pictures on your website, whenever a customer or consumer surfing or navigating your products, that should be faster enough or swift enough, right? So it cannot be super high resolution TIFFs. So for that, we change this raw image into a smart object. So I have created an action here, and I am just using this action. And I'm saving it as TIFF. So if you can see, a smart object has been created. Okay. And this size, because I have set an action to resize my images, if you see, the size has been changed to 1000 by 1200. So this is the dimension, or this is the format on which this image will be shown on my website. Whenever I will, as you may be aware, Sachin, like whenever we save image for web, it automatically brings your dimension to 72 pixels per inch. And this is, you can decide this width and height, you can decide, but the resolution will be 72 pixels per inch whenever you are saving it for web. So a smart object is created, and this is my inside file. If you see image size here, it is different. So it is 1136 by 979. Of course, we are dealing with a low resolution image here because of the copyright constraints. Otherwise, this is normally 3000 to 5000 pixels. Okay. So I will retouch and recolor here. I will save this file and then make a PNG out of this smart object file, which will be 1000 by 1200 into 72 pixels per inch. The image size will be resized as 1000 by 1200 to 72 pixels. whenever I'm saving it for web. So this is how we use the files. We don't normally use this amount of high resolution data. Sometimes for social marketing and some other platforms, we have to deliver them high resolution data. Like if I'm using my image on Flipkart, so Flipkart has its dimension set. Don't know, we have to have that image into 1600 by 1600 pixels only. For other platform it may change, so it depends from company to company. But yeah, whenever you are saving the file, you don't just save the TIFF, you make it a smart object and you save this smart object file, and you always work inside the smart object by clicking this icon. This is your main file, which is of high resolution. You do all the retouching, recoloring here, and then you save it. And out of this smart object, you save the PNG for width, which is 1000 by 1272 pixels. And then you give it to upload it to website portal.
Okay, okay. Thank you. That was very interesting, because I at least was not aware of this particular thing. All right, Santosh. So, guys, if you have any questions, then we will take those questions now. Otherwise, we can wrap this session. Santosh, thank you so much for such insightful session, and
Thank you.
it was really really, uh, I would say, since we know each other for so long, still I got to know a lot of new things which I was not aware of. So
Yeah,
it was
thanks.
definitely helpful. I'm sure students also, they have enjoyed it. Um, guys, any questions? Okay, so Santosh, before we just sign off, maybe if you could just tell 2 to 3 pointers which which students would like to, which they can go uh, with, basically, so they can keep this mind in. Of course, this entire session is very thoughtful and knowledge. It had a lot of information, but the quick pointers, if you would like to give to students, particularly if they want to get into this field of retouching or e-commerce business.
Yeah, I would suggest that a lot of opportunities are getting generated in this field, the e-commerce business. So keep looking for such kind of opportunities, because companies are actually on the lookout on the websites like portals like Naukri or LinkedIn.com. If you keep updating your resume on those kind of platforms, you may get a call from various companies. And since this is going to be the future of the market, it is already very much in like dominant, and it is going to be there for the longest time due to the certain changes in the market scenario. The market is booming, there is a requirement, so keep updating your web Photoshop knowledge. I'll tell you one thing here. The things which I've showed you, even if this session wouldn't have happened, some of you may would have done it in your own way, because that is the beauty of Photoshop. A certain thing can be done in more than one way. Okay, but what matters most is whenever you are working in a corporate setup, how efficiently and like in what time bound manner you are delivering your product. That is very important, and that's what keep you going in a corporate setup. So always keep learning various methods in Photoshop, that I have changed color of this shirt, or I have retouched this model in this way. What are the other ways? What are the shortcuts? Like always resort to shortcuts, always resort to actions. Like if on such images I have to apply certain kind of process time and again, so can I make some actions and I just use those actions, I just play those actions rather than repeating that process again and again. Because whenever you are working in a corporate setup, always remember that you are going to deal in volumes, and they will actually count how much minute, how much time you have dedicated to one image. So keep updating your knowledge, keep looking for shortcuts, keep looking for actions, and how you can efficiently deliver an image not only in one way, but for more than one way. Yeah, that is going to be a very key element of a success in this field.
Okay, Santosh, thank you so much. Can stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh. It was really good session. And I'm guys,
Yes, so
Guys, this is very interesting field, I would say, or going forward, this might be a great opportunity. So to start think about this, and we will be sharing this recording of this session with you. So any particular thing if you want to go through again. Main motive behind this session was to get an idea about how this overall process is done in this particular field operates. I'm sure that all of you have got that particular idea today. We will keep doing sessions with Santosh related to retouching, maybe little more in detail in future. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you so much.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Santosh.
Sachin.